And it's like, Manish sir, to I nahi, aaj main hi aayi hu, right? So it really took a lot of courage of conviction to go in there. I now laugh about it, but you know, when you're 27, 28 years old and people are questioning why you're there, it took all my guts to, you know, go in there and say, look, I'm going to do this. And by the way, even in meetings when I went in, nobody would make eye contact, right? Because I'm speaking, but like now I'm speaking to you, but you'll continue to look at Ramdev ji because, you know, you were like, ye kaise balance sheet ke baare mein baat kar rahi hai, right? So it was really hard, right? Because as a young person, you've prepared all night, you know, you've given it your best, you've gone with a good deck to convince people on why it should be UBS or whatever the case may be. And people are not even making eye contact. Forget winning the business. Koi dekh hi nahi raha hai tumhe, to business kaise milega, right? So yeah, so it was very challenging. And, you know, I think my father encouraged me a lot. He said to me that, look, the men themselves are going through a paradigm shift. They're not used to you coming in and talking in this way. So give them some time. You know, it's a readjustment. And, you know, when you're challenging the norm, it is tough, right? You're challenging the status quo. You're challenging everyone's version of what a woman should be, right? Which is, you should be at home, cooking, barefoot pregnant in the kitchen, as they used to say. You're challenging all of that. So it's going to be hard, and, you know, it's not for the weak-hearted. So don't come home whining every day. If you want to do this and you love doing what you're doing, which you're saying, then go out there, take it on your chin every day, and someday it'll get better.
Wow. Deserves a huge round of applause already. Doesn't it, ladies? Lakshmi, 2 decades, started off as a management trainee, and now just look at you. What was your journey like, and what drove that passion in you, Lakshmi? Why is it that you wanted to do what you're doing right now?
So firstly, I didn't want to do science, so that was one elimination. And India mein there's science, maths, science, commerce and arts. So these were the only 3 streams because I come from an SSE board in Mumbai, and ICSE was utopian only for the Delhi walas, not for the Bombay walas. So, for me, in my 10th grade, I got like a 98 on 100 in math, and I got a 147 on 150 in all the 3 sciences put together, 50-50 each. The first port of call, like typical South Indian Tamram family, okay, science, and then what? Engineer, doctor. I said, dude, doctor was good for like a fancy dress competition to get the prize, a fake coat and fake stethoscope and all of that, but not for doing, because I used to hate biology. Chemistry was pretty good, and physics, because math was there, I kind of liked it, but it was pure by choice of elimination, and the fact that I love playing around with numbers. That kind of said, but not that 25 years back, I knew that this is where, have you seen the movie Luck by Chance? It was more like Luck by Chance. And, you know, and a couple of trial and error, I said that this is where I want to be. And I actually started off before Kotak. I was with a firm called Credence Analytics, and I started as a research analyst. At that point in time, we used to sell data in floppy disk. Now, floppy disk is so dinosaurish if I say it here. But yeah, that's been the journey from balancing accounts to balancing aspirations.
Wow. You know, I have a question, and, you know, just taking a leaf from Lakshmi to all of you in the audience. How many of you fear maths intrinsically? I'm going to raise my hand first, because I was literally that girl in school. I was like, math, no, I hate numbers. Manisha, do you think it's also somewhere in your DNA? Or is it at least a perceived notion that women can't do numbers?
I think it's it's not in the DNA, absolutely. All the valedictorians are girls, you know, all the toppers in every school, every college. If you open the Times of India, is a girl, it's never a guy's picture. So clearly the girls are good at it. But I think the ecosystem makes you believe as you get older that you don't know maths, that you don't know finance, right? When you get married, that's the man's job. Everything else is your job, the caregiving, nurturing, you're good at, but the maths the man is good at. I think it's because men ko aur kuch aata hi nahi hai, to chalo inko maths to de hi do, right? So I think that's where it comes from, and then we all start believing it. I was so happy to see that only one hand went up when you asked the question that yes, you too, but you now, you know, are much wiser.
I was motivating them.
But see, that's how you are when you're young, right? And then the ecosystem over time will just convince you that the sciences and math are not for you, right? And less and less kids go into, less and less girls go into STEM. I think I was mentioning to you, my daughter's one of 190 kids doing engineering, and she's one of, and there's 3 girls of the 190, even in today's day and age, right? So I think the ecosystem just convinces you and convinces themselves that girls are not good at it, and hence we're just not given a chance to demonstrate that. And if you see, you know, all our grandmoms were great at balancing home balance sheets, right? I remember my grandmom used to tie the money into her little sari and she could manage her house and all shortfalls, etc. It was just amazing. So clearly from the generation of our grandmoms, girls knew math, but were just not given credit for it or credentialized for it.
Ramdevji, for creating this institution, and you started when 87, when most of us were not born and we were toddlers. But how has your journey been in observing where women have grown back in 87, where I'm sure there was no one in the market? Was there any woman in the market in 87 when you started?
No, not. I don't know of any prominent one.
Yeah.
Nobody.
To now, when you see we've got an audience full here at the Motilal Oswal Towers, and there's so many women who are aspiring to become maybe a Buffett.
Yeah. So when I started, even chartered accountants were not in the stock market. It was, if you're a chartered accountant, you're not supposed to be in the stock market. You're supposed to be in income tax office or you're in auditing team somewhere, but not in the stock market. So I think things change, and I firmly believe that stock market is a one fantastic place where women can really excel. I mean, not all, but definitely there are as she's saying that in all the boards, girls are making kind of top of the charts. There is I don't see any reason. It will come in my presentation, but I don't see any reason. It is not a physical work. It is just a mental work. You have to read some books. You have to read some research report. You have to go and meet the management. Companies are dying to hire you all. Really dying to. I know in my company, every board is asking where is the gender diversity and how you manage and things like that. I mean, we feel very bad that there are no girls in, and what happens is if there are 50 analyst team and there is one or two girls, the girls come and tell me whom should they talk to? Because there is not enough girls in the system. So it is not a very nurturing ground for the lot of girls to come in that place because they can't find enough colleagues. So somehow then one person resigns, then it becomes two becomes one, and then one also runs away. So that's what really happens. But I can't really figure out why there is not enough ambition. There is so much of free money. I mean, literally there is so much of free money for all the girls to come, become researcher, and then finally become billionaires. I mean, it's not about research. Research leading to becoming a billionaire. When I tell the girls, I mean, my niece, nephew, they all come from US and all. What would you like to become? Would you like to become a billionaire woman? Yes, that's what they say. We would like to fly our own plane. We would like to have our own brand equity. But when it comes to working out, then they again fizzle out. So my sense is there is an innate desire in, like, girls are no different than the boys, and they would be having that innate desire to become a billionaire or multi-billionaire, and now the new word is being a trillionaire eventually. So why can't that ambition is there? Because from that ambition comes everything. In me, that came because of, I wanted to, because I was reading a lot of fiction. My childhood has been about reading a lot of fictions, and like there was no method in the madness in reading, but I was reading a book. And that time it used to be circulation library. You pay $10 and borrow the book. So you could borrow the entire library. So I used to borrow a lot of fiction books. And in that fiction, the $1 billion show thing, Silver Bear, Zero Coupon Bond, Money Changer, I mean, all kinds of books I read. And that put a fantasy in my mind that you can be rich.
Of course.
You can be rich. Whether you will or not, that depends on your ambition, your hard work, your determination, your discipline. That's what really matters. Then you read biographies, and then finally you meet the hero called Mr. Buffett in '94. That led the route for the career making towards making money, and then you create a vehicle which creates. I mean, you start working, and then you create a vehicle called Motilal Oswal, where money making becomes a business, and so that's how we built it. And but I don't see that not only in India, world over. I don't see. I don't. For some reason, I don't see female ambitioned girls trying to become multi-billion-dollar women. I don't see that.
Lakshmi, why do you think that is the case? Do women don't feel that they can do it? Or is it more like money making is a man's thing?
You know, Aisha, women are like Lord Hanuman. they have to be told that you have this innate strength which you need to invoke. Hanuman, also being God, had to be told that, this is not your full potential. You have to manifest your full potential. And therefore, I always believe that having somebody, even outside the workplace, to, kind of nudge you towards it, you call it mentorship, you call it allyship, whatever it is in the workplace, but having somebody to tell you that is so, so very important. And I very much agree with Ramdevji. When I went to Geneva, and I introduced myself. मेरा तो लक्ष्मी का ही problem था, मनीषा का problem नहीं था. So I said, hi, I'm Lakshmi. And that guy looks at me and says, oh, you're Lakshmi. I said, yeah, why? Is there a problem? He's saying, no, Lakshmi Mittal is a guy. This is exactly what he told me. And so he thought Lakshmi is not fund management and she's not, it cannot be a woman. When I go to Japan, out of 100 people in the room, I am still the only one. In Japan, it's even worse. The women to male ratio in the financial services in investment management is pathetic. We are one shade better than pathetic, I would say. So, andhe mein kana raja hota hai. So, I would say that way we are better off, but we are still one-eyed man in the land of the blind. So, I think it's all about invoking yourself, and I would say it takes two to tango. It's not just the ecosystem to blame.